Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight. Big lies. That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. A few years ago, some people were saying Barack Obama was not born in the USA. The factor investigated and found birth announcements in both Honolulu newspapers. It would have been impossible for anyone to forge that. Thus, it became clear to us the president was born here. The allegation that he was not is a big lie. However, that lie is insignificant, has no effect on anyone's life. Today, there are big lies that directly affect every single American. Case number one, the supervisors in San Francisco refusing to cooperate with federal law on foreign felons who defy deportation. That killed 32-year-old Kate Steinle.
What happened in the Steinle family case is tragic. But what's equally tragic is that this tragic incident is being used by people like Donald Trump, Bill O'Reilly, and others to scapegoat an entire community.
Complete lie. We have never scapegoated anyone. And to say what's equally tragic is that a political commentator disagrees with him when there is a 32-year-old woman in the ground. That's equally tragic? Is it, Mr. Campos? In fact, in 2014, Talking Points laid out a very fair and effective immigration reform plan. You can check it out on BillO'Reilly.com where we posted it. So David Campos does not tell the truth, but even worse than that, he and his peers are anarchists. They are refusing to comply with federal law, putting innocent people like Kate in danger. If I were the Attorney General of the USA, I'd have Campos and his cohorts arrested and charged with obstruction of justice. I'd do it. Case number two. President Obama believes the American justice system is biased against African Americans. Therefore, some convicts should be released from prison because their sentences were too harsh. In the meantime, violent crime in the USA is rising. Homicides in the 35 largest cities in the country up about 20% so far this year. President Obama apparently thinks that heavyweight hard drug dealers are nonviolent. A huge lie. Every law enforcement agent in the country knows that street drug trafficking is brutal. And there are few minor offenders in federal prison. For example, fewer than 1% of drug convicts have been convicted of simple drug possession. And how about the racial aspect that's driving the insane sympathy for dope dealers? Well, Hispanics make up 48% of all the drug offenders in federal prison. Blacks 27%, whites 22%. So another big lie is saying the government is targeting blacks in drug cases. Not happening. Case number three. Last week, New York City police officer Randolph Holder shot dead by a longtime drug dealer that a judge refused to incarcerate, instead ordering the man to rehab. Tyrone Howard, there he is. 28 arrests on his sheet. Again, the judge would not put him in prison. Thus, Officer Holder is dead. Less than a week after Officer Holder was killed, less than a week, and before his funeral even took place, Hollywood director Quentin Tarantino traveled to New York City to condemn American police officers.
Michael Brown Jr. Michael Brown Jr. An 18-year-old black teenager, Ferguson, Missouri. On August 9th, 2014, Michael was walking to his grandmother's house with a friend when he was stopped and harassed by Darren Wilson, a Ferguson cop. After being shot once, Michael tried to run away. He was shot a total of 6 times, including twice in the head.
Tarantino reading from a script. As you may remember, a grand jury saw this case completely differently. They exonerated Officer Wilson, as testimony clearly demonstrated. Michael Brown attacked the officer violently. But to Tarantino, who lives in a world of his own, facts don't matter. And he has no problem, Tarantino, with spreading big lies. All of this has demoralized many American police officers, and violent crime again is rising, as we have reported. The entire situation has gotten the attention of FBI Director James Comey.
I spoke to officers privately in one big city precinct who described being surrounded by young people with mobile phones held high, taunting them when they get out of their cars. They said to me, "We feel under siege and we don't feel much like getting out of our cars."
So the big lies now being spread by the far left are having a direct effect on life in America. And here's another disgraceful fact. Many in the media who are mandated to report the truth actually knowingly spread the lies. And that's a memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction with us now. Here in New York City, Dr. Jeffrey Ian Ross, who teaches criminology at the University of Baltimore. Where am I going wrong?
Well, you're raising a number of provocative ideas, incidents, individuals who are taking positions. Not everything you say is exactly as it seems.
All right, give me one where I'm going.
Well, with respect to the FBI director, I have no doubt that he's talked to officers and he talked to police administrators, and they feel besieged by the public. However, there is no empirical research that exists today that
studies are being done now.
Well, we hope they are. We don't know that.
No,
for a
I know
fact.
they are. There are studies being done by criminologists. But I'll tell you, in New York City, I mean, I'm a reporter. Police tell me all the time they're not nearly as aggressive.
Yeah, but that's anecdotal evidence, Bill, and that's important.
Well,
for us
in
to
a
look
report,
at
that's
hypotheses. But then we need to investigate those. They're very provocative. This Ferguson,
but you're not disputing that, are you?
I'm disputing what the selective police officers feel like they're under siege. No, I'm not disputing that.
You can't, because the evidence is that a mayor like de Blasio in New York City and your mayor down in Baltimore, they're perceived by the cops, the rank and file, as being anti-cop. And if your boss is perceived as somebody who doesn't like you, you're not going to work as hard as you might as if somebody doesn't like you. But look at the facts. I mean, I don't like, this Tarantino character, and I think he destroyed his career, because anybody hearing that's going to go, you know what? Maybe I'm not going to see his movies. I mean, you have in this country 630,000 law enforcement agents, active, 630,000. You know how many shootings there were? How many people there were in the last study killed in a year, 2013? Do you know?
Not off the top of my head, but I know it's actually decreasing.
516.
Sure.
I mean, it's infinitesimal. And out of that, whites 268, blacks 142, Hispanics 90. So this Black Lives Matter, this left-wing thing that cops are hunting down and murdering blacks, it simply isn't true. You're a fact-based guy. Would you tell your class it isn't true?
I would say that we'd have to question the facts, and I think the facts are such that we have to put it into perspective. I don't think that police are decreasing the frequency at which they're stopping and questioning, searching, and arresting individuals. There are selective police officers in certain jurisdictions where this is happening. But it's not countrywide.
All right.
Police do feel like they're under siege. There's no question about it. And smartphones has changed the game in the United States.
But instead of all of us working together, and I mean all of us working together, to say to the police, you have power. And with that power comes responsibility. And you shouldn't abuse anyone. But in the big picture, the police are our protectors. And that's not the message getting out. Last word.
I completely agree with you. I think that this kind of message is taught in our training academies, and most police are respectful of citizens' rights. Now, there are the odd police officer and the odd...
You're never going to have a perfect system.
No question about it.
All right, Professor, I got to go, and we appreciate you coming on in. Next on The Rundown, Charles Crowder.